Hello, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to YoungMartin'sReels. Today's project is going to be this Pflueger Oceanic Surfcaster, and Freespool Surfcast is what it's called. And I'm going to be showing you in just a second here a little video before I put this thing into the dip what it looked like. And here it is. Well, it's time to test my ultrasonic cleaner and see just exactly what its capabilities are. I've been holding on to this reel. This was given to me by my son-in-law. It belonged to his stepdad. And can't tell you anything about this. I know it's got a cracked side plate. I don't really know what it is. I don't believe it's an Ocean City. I just don't know. It's been horribly, horribly abused. And my plan is I'm going to take this just as it is, the whole thing, and drop it down inside the parts cleaner with, there's a hook. So, and see just exactly what using diesel fuel as a cleaner is going to be able to do for this, if anything. But I have been saving this for the time when I got the ultrasonic parts cleaner, because I did not want to get into it until we had it here, because I knew this would be a profound test and a learning experience for me on how to do this. And I'm just about to decide that using the diesel fuel as a cleaner is not sufficient, and I'm going to have to go with something else. Now, this does not turn that way. It will turn some that way. I haven't tried to take any of the screws out or anything else. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to do a double cycle on it in the parts cleaner and see just exactly how it comes out. And we'll see what happens after that. You can't take this cap off. This cap doesn't want to come off either. I don't know if there's any hope for this thing whatsoever. My guess is not really. This reminds me of a Pflueger, I think it's a Pflueger, Ohio, the reel that I did. Very reminiscent of that reel. And I will probably never find a new side plate for it or anything else. But we're going to give this thing a go in the parts cleaner and see what happens. And if that's not enough for you, I'm also planning to do this one after that. This is a JC Cokes. And it does turn, but not very well. It hangs up, and it's looking pretty nasty. So I'm thinking we're going to put that in the parts cleaner too. But we're going to start off with this one, put him in there at 50 degrees Celsius and see exactly what we end up with when it comes back out, just like it is. I'm not planning to pre-clean or anything else. Just going to take it like it is and put it in there. They make a parts cleaner that I'm thinking I'm going to break down and buy and stop using Dawn dishwashing detergent and diesel fuel to clean, because I don't think they're doing an adequate job. So we'll see how it goes. This is my jar that I put down into the parts cleaner. There's one thing I did learn off the internet was to use a glass jar inside to put my cleaner fluid in so that it would reduce and cut down on having to clean the tank itself. But we're going to set this down inside there, get it to lay flat so it's completely submerged. This is the diesel fuel, and I'm going to put the lid back on it, take it over, turn the cleaner on, and we're going to see how that turns out. All right, that big reel's been soaking for a while here in the tank. It's gone through one 15-minute cycle. Let's see if we can get a hold of it and see what it looks like at this point. I'm going to set this down for a second. Okay, there it is after one 15-minute cycle. Does it turn any more freely? I don't know. Hang on. Absolutely not. If anything, it turns less freely. There it goes. Yep, definitely got some more soaking to do. Okay, back in the tank it goes. All right, now what I have figured out is that diesel fuel doesn't do anything for rust. It does not dissolve it in any way, shape, or fashion in there. So we're gonna have to come up with another solution for that. Okay, I'm gonna do a little research and see what I can come up with. In the meantime, let's let it clean one more cycle. Okay, it's been in the tank for two 15-minute sessions, and it's been soaking in there since then. And let's see if I can get hold of it and get it on up out of there. And there we go. And there we go. Okay, at this point, I think that it is soaked long enough that we're going to be able to at least disassemble it and then see about cleaning the parts. But there she sits. That's after 30 minutes in the soak. I'm hoping that we can get the screws out and then we can get the side plates off and the end caps off and see if we can get this thing apart. It does not seem to turn any freer than it did before. So I'm not sure if we've helped anything. It only seems to want to turn backwards. So I guess we will see as we disassemble it. Fortunately, the diesel fuel did nothing towards dissolving these side plates. So far, though, I still see nothing that indicates the maker of this reel. All right. You would think it would say right there. And maybe it does, but we haven't cleaned it off yet. Okay, now it's been dipped twice, and it still is not very functional, folks. It wants to hang up everywhere, and I just think it's got a lot of trash and dirt in it. So we're going to take this thing apart and see just how far we can go with it as far as getting it repaired. And I believe it's either going to be a 1/2 inch or 9/16. 1/2 inch. Okay. And I'm really actually kind of surprised that that came off as easy as it did. Okay. Try to take that loose. Yeah, look at how nasty that stuff is in there. All right. Oh. Well, actually, that might not be a bad thing. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that's not. This is one of those that the center shaft actually is going to move from side to side. Yeah, look at there. Look at that. It moves. That's how it engages and disengages the gear. I like this. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take this side plate off by removing these screws, or at least that's my plan. They probably have not been out in a long time. All right. All the screws removed. We're going to now hopefully take this side plate off. Okay, and we did. Let's see what we find in here. All right, we've got a lot of old rust and corrosion, but most of it looks like we could clean it up pretty quick. Okay. Okay. Well, I think once we got all the dirt and stuff out of that gear's going to be okay. Let's take a look at this other side. See if the clicker will work. And so far, no, it's not going to move. I'm a little nervous about messing with this side because it's got this broken cracked plate on the side. But I guess we'll go ahead and take it off. Let's take this bearing off the end. I was expecting to find a spring inside there, but there's not. Okay, let's go ahead. All right, now I believe this one here, if you notice this post is different from that post. It's because I believe this one, if you look at the center, see how it's got this wear mark right here in the middle? I believe there's supposed to be a leather thumb patch right there. And I think we'll be recreating that and putting it back on there. Let's go ahead now. All right, that's got that cleaned up. Well, it doesn't have it cleaned up. It's got it taken apart and ready to be cleaned up. All right, let's see what we got on this side. We'll go ahead and take this cap off so we can get it cleaned up as well. And there's a lot. Look at the yuck. Okay. Now, the gear itself appears to be in really good shape. Look at the dirt down in here, though. That's a lot. I think a lot of what was causing it to bind up. Okay. Yeah, it actually turns pretty free. Right there. All right, so let's see if we can unscrew these. Okay, I've got this screwdriver. It's got the center cut out of it. Let's see if that'll help us unscrew this. Okay. It's got one out. I believe I had a separate one of these. I thought I had a larger one. Okay, there's a larger one. It accomplishes the same thing, if it's not too wide to fit in the slots. Now let's see if this one's going to stay. Okay, that one's just going to stay right where it's supposed to be. All right, that lifts out. Go. Here's the gear. Here's the screw. I don't think we're going to need to take that out. It seems to be functioning just fine the way it is. Doesn't feel gritty or anything, so I think we're going to leave that alone. But what we are going to do now is take all this and put it back in the parts cleaner one more time. Well, no, we're not, because I'm afraid that what I want to use is going to eat this rubber up. This is a rubber. It's not a phenolic. It's a rubber, and I'm afraid it might get eaten up. I tell you what, let's come to this side. Let's see what happens when we just spray some WD-40 and scrub this guy good with a wire brush. Okay, well, the rust seems to be coming right off. Okay, I've changed my mind. We're going to go ahead and take this out just to make it easier to clean everything else. Well, maybe we're not. That didn't want to move, and I don't want to break it off in it. Okay, we're going to leave it. All right, we're going to take that part and scrub it.
Sneak around, plant a game camera, and then sneak back out, come back, sneak back in later. I mean, really? What? Who's going to argue in favor of that, other than the government? So it's really creepy. And one of the other things, and I do mean that, this is a creepy concept to me, okay? If you've ever owned land and encountered a trespasser, it has a really creepy feeling about it. And I speak from experience. But the other thing I'm also curious about is if they're trying to surveil this property, and they're trying to do it on the down low, as they like to say, do you really want to be hiking around inside a hunting club's private property and blending in really well? Or wouldn't that be a dangerous thing? It seems to me that wouldn't be the safest thing to do. I remember mountain biking on trails that went through state land where they allowed hunting. And when we did that, we wore bright colors on purpose because we didn't want anybody saying, hey, I see movement, shoot. You know, I want to make sure that I stand out. So that's another issue altogether. I'm surprised there has been a
All right, we've torn this down, isolated it, and I have found out what the problem is. Besides the old dirt and dried grease and all that, the big problem with this reel is right here. On this spool, there should be a shaft coming out right here, and that shaft is snapped off or corroded off or whatever, and it's no longer there. So there's nothing to hold this side of the spool in place when it's sitting in there. I do plan to go ahead and reassemble the reel. I've cleaned it up as best I can. Well, not as best I can, but as much as I intend to. I've cleaned it up, got most of the rust off and stuff. And one day I might actually attempt to see about machining a new shaft to go in it. Pop this off. But for now, that's as far as this is going to go. I'm going to put it back together, and it's going to be a shelf sitter for right now. So let's go ahead and start putting it back together. We're going to start out over here on this side, and there's no point in greasing this well except to maintain or keep the corrosion from getting hold of it. So we'll go ahead and put a little grease, just enough to protect it from the elements. It will be sitting here in my hot garage and cold garage, depending on what time of year it is. So we'll go ahead and slap a little bit of grease on the main gear, drop it in like so. Now, here's the way this goes together. Okay, we've got this piece here. It's going to drop in like this. Let's go ahead and put a little grease on that shaft as well. That was pretty heavily corroded as well. Okay, we'll slide that in right there. Now that lines up, this piece lines up over here. This one lines up with this hole, and this one's going to line up on this hole over here. Well, this one with this hole, let's go ahead and put that screw in, since its part is already sitting there, lined up and ready to go. Okay, now we're going to come over to this side, and we'll adjust this, bring it over, there we go. That'll move that over enough for us to be able to put this piece in and slip this screw in and screw that in. Okay, once we get it to start, then we got to hold that screw steady while we screw it back in, which is not exactly an easy thing to do. And let's see if the other one fits better. Okay, there we go. And we'll tighten that down just a hair more. All right, now, this is our spool engage and disengage. Okay, as we move it here, see how it moves this? Okay, if you look on this side, over here, it's moving our actual crank in and out against the spool. Okay, your spool will be sitting right here like this, and that moves that in and out. Well, unfortunately, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to spin or do like it's supposed to do because this shaft is snapped off that would hold it right there. Okay, so that's not going to allow it to sit in there the way it belongs. We are going to go ahead and grease it and hope that it helps to at least be able to crank it. I don't know how much it's going to help, but maybe it'll help a little bit. Okay, that goes on there like that. Okay, let's go ahead before we put all that together, and let's just put our reel seat back on. All right, let's flip this over like so, putting that side down, and I think these are going to fit better on this side. All right, and on the back side was where this thumb bar would have gone, so let's go ahead and put that one on. that one working. There we go. And we got that one working. All right, much as I would love to see this reel perform like it should, like it did when it was new, it will turn. That's pretty good, considering it doesn't have any post on this side. There we go. Got that to separate. Okay, now if you watch, you'll see this handle move over when we flip the lever. See there? And that's how it engages and disengages. Well, I did get it somewhat functional, but if you put any tension on that, it's going to start binding. But there, I'm calling it a fail. It's definitely a fail because that axle shaft or main shaft on your spool is corroded and missing on this end. It's gone. There's nothing there. So it's just riding within that sleeve in there. But there is the Pflueger Oceanic Freespool Surfcaster, 300 size. And yes, it has a cracked side plate. Oh, by the way, let's see if I managed to get the clicker working. Not very well, huh? There it goes. And now it wants to bind up because that clicker puts tension against it. Yeah. So take the clicker off, it'll turn okay. Put the clicker on, and it's going to bind. Okay, put it in free spool. And the clicker works, but we would have to have that post repaired prior to this ever being a functional reel again. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Tell me what you didn't like. I didn't talk on the rest of the assembly so I could speed it up, and because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to completely repair this. And it's pretty simple the way it goes together. I do like this reel. I've been told that these reels were made between 1918 and 1939, and supposedly if I give them a picture of what it looks like inside, they might be able to date it for me. So for now, that's Rick Stivers of the Young Martin's Reels signing out.